Okay, second try. I had to do a restart. Welcome to day 63. The plot thickens. I'm moving so much energy. This is incredible. And since I got a chance to do a take 2, I decided to lead with a completely different energy because I felt off in the first one. So it wasn't supposed to be, I guess. I feel there's so much energy moving. So much energy moving. It's incredible, actually. And I am noticing myself going in and out of states of feeling completely like happy and trusting and very like better than I've done in a long time. And then it's like the nervous system hits a new level of safety, and then it falls into, okay, then we can access this emotion as well. And what I'm noticing is that it's the grief. So it's this whole abandonment energy. And as icing on the cake, there is another cat in this premises, a small black one. She came as a very little kitten, and she's just getting big and exploring the whole neighborhood. And she managed to climb up on our gym roof, which is very high and is a roof on top of a roof. And she can't get down. And the sun is coming up, and it's getting really hot today. And we just don't have the tools to get her down, me and Simba. It's just so far up. And she is in absolute distress, and it's getting hot. And we try, and then the father of the family, he's going to take the cat down, but he can't do that until after work. And I'm like, okay, I surrender. The cat is going to, have to stay on the roof until this evening. Okay, that's fine. But then as the day goes, and it's getting so unbelievably hot, and she's cramped into a corner where there's a little bit of shade, but the metal roof gets, I was outside today, and I was just like, whoa. And she was in the up there for hours and hours and hours. And every time I go up and check on her, she's hanging down the ceiling and just like, and I can see that she's not gonna do well. So I feel like, okay, we have to. And we were kind of told that, no, don't worry about her. She, they will take care of her. And I disobeyed. I don't know if I told you that, but that's one of the big traumas that I have, that I can't be disobedient. And I disobeyed, and I spoke to another person, and we called a guy, and he called 10 guys. So there was this whole rescue experience, and that's why, because there was one time where there was construction next door, and I couldn't do any, it was just too loud because it doesn't have the same filter as Zoom. And so I haven't been able to do my live because they've been up on the roof for a very long time, but they managed to get her down, and then I just fell apart. I've been crying like, oh, and that has been so it's this, just the thought of her being alone, and no one is helping her, and that's the story that I build. That's this feeling that I get in my body. So that was the whole experience, and the fact that she managed to get down. So it's this emotional roller coaster. I really feeling this eclipse season and the 3/3 portal. I can really feel these energies, and I'm moving a lot of energy every morning, and I'm noticing my body is starting to shift. So if I'm going to give a little bit of an update on my three my three list. So yeah, launching this. If you've been with me, you know how it's going. Yeah, so the focus on the physical, I'm approaching that through the energetical and the emotional. I am dead set that opening up my body and opening up the flows, the energetic flows, the meridians, and all the flows in all the systems and the organs, and that it's going to naturally just organize itself. I'm not going to do heavy lifting. I'm going to do more calisthenics and a lot on the air bike. So I'm moving energy a lot, and I'm increasing my physical exercise, but very slowly. And I'm starting to feel that the body is reshaping. And mostly I think it's because I'm focusing so much on the lower dantian, the lower abdomens and the deeper aspects of the core, because I've never reached those depths of my body in activation. And so if we slide into the mind, I've also noticed that the mind has been strong not the last couple of days, because when we went into this retrograde kind of eclipse energy, it just felt like we went into some sort of kind of space bubble. And yeah, it's lost my train of thought. Yeah, I'm like, I can really feel like something is shifting. It's like I'm becoming a new person, and that parts of me is letting go, and parts of me is coming, and parts of me is not ready yet. So I feel like I'm very inconsistent in my energies, which is unusual, which makes it interesting. So that's why I feel like something is up. And the connection with the mind, that it's like old patterns coming up. Like, didn't we work through this? And I've been talking about those before. And yeah, I feel like I'm out of sync, like out of tune. And that also gives me it makes me feel like something's up, because and I feel that energies are shifting also, that there's these familiar patterns that are shifting. Yeah, I mean, it sounds super vague and weird. I can hear that. So let's talk about the mind instead. The mind, so it's not about always like positive thinking. I mean, positive thinking is extremely important, because the mind, yes, it's smart and clever, but it's also very stupid, and it's the one of the stronger manifestation tools you have, because it reinforces the belief systems. And if you have faulty belief systems and a mind that is out of control, then it will steer you in the absolute complete wrong direction. So it's like it's like a captain, but it's not the captain. It's like a secondary captain that is run by intention, and it has to be reeled in. That is the thing with the mind. It has to be reeled in. And it took me a long time to do that. That's why I was so surprised when all of these old patterns came up. But then I started to read up a little bit on this eclipse, and I realized, like, okay, yeah, that's just old patterns resurfacing, which is a good thing. That means things are happening. I've been having a lot of weird memories coming up, just random, one clip, one It's just very random. So the mind is important because the mind is like a narrator. It's like having a live commentator on your life. It's like you're watching a game, a football game or a soccer game, and you have a commentator. It's like having that in your life, but the problem is it's not a game and it's not on the television. But still you have this voice that is commenting on things, and you're having internal conversation and dialogues with this voice. And the type of feedback that you're getting and the type of conversation and the level of conversation that you're having with yourself, it matters. It matters a lot, because the mind, the one thing that the mind is like, one of the powers of the mind is that it can it can send, it sends like a frequency to the whole body. It sends information, and if it's not a positive forecast, then there's a lot of stress that is being I mean, it's producing more fear, more stress in the body, because it's constantly looking for danger. And if it's very critic and negative towards you, then that is your self-sabotaging. That is a deep level of self-sabotaging. So if we are unable to keep the mind in check, that is going to affect us big time. Because what we want is for the live commentator to, you know, playing soccer is actually, the soccer referee is actually, I don't know how into soccer you are, but if you're in South America, there's the commentators, that's like a sport. So if you if you compare, you don't want to have the Latin American mind that is just yelling all the time and being overly excited sometimes, and then overly depressed and sad, and especially because they do it with so much emotions. It's too much for the body. It will take us into places and spaces where we don't belong, because it sends us just off. If we have a mind that is negative, because the mind is usually negative because it's primed to spot for danger. And when it's untrained, it's like 80% of what it's doing and saying and commenting is either negative or repetitive. So it's either the same thing all the time, or it's very negative. And someone said one time, if you had a friend like that, you would never hang out. But instead we hang out with that voice in our heads, and we can't accept the negativity, because I don't know really why we do that. I guess it's habit, and we don't know, and we didn't have better trainers for our mind. I mean, it runs on experience. So if the mind is not working as a collaborator, that is gonna have a very strong effect on where we end up and how things are going. Because if we're constantly just repeating what we've been doing and filling that with negativity, that's not gonna build ourselves up. So it's super important to know and to be aware, and because that's the power of the choice, that we can choose our thoughts. That might not be super easy, but it's doable. So you can train the mind, and I highly suggest to to really pay attention to the mind, and what role is it playing in my life, and how is it affecting my ability to create my 11 list or create my future or the the life that I'm dreaming of, and the purpose that I saw, that's the sole purpose. So we got to have the mind on board to be when things go wrong, and we want the mind to say, okay, up again, it's going to be all right. Not like, wow, that was bad, you suck, I told you so, and we should never have, and all of these, it's too close, it's too influential to be nothing else but a huge fan or a big time supporter. And we end up in these. So what you can notice is, if you end up in these loops, that there's these patterns of negativity that comes back, or fears, or these loops of overthinking, overly obsessing about searching the answer for something, like constantly believing that you are in danger and that there's a problem to fix, and that something's wrong with me, I have to fix, and that is I have had that a lot in my life, that searching, that non-stop mind just looking for a way out, and that becomes so habitual. And also the mind can be over planning. I did that. I did a lot of planning. I was living in my calendar, as I've been mentioning, and problems making decisions, and also taking in too much information from others, like not being able to make our own decisions. That's all connected to the nervous system, and the overthinking and the fear that is in the system is directly connected to the nervous system. So you notice that the different levels of the detox are connected, they are interconnected. So we can't really slow down the mind without regulating the nervous system, because it's just going on repeat. So how do you slow down the mind? It's not only meditation, but it's this constant being aware of what is going on in the head, and stopping that pattern, just breaking it as often as you. It's like, it is a meditation, but it's awake meditation, where you control your mind and control your thoughts. But if you have a lot of unprocessed emotions, events, circumstances, memories, traumas from the past, then slowing down the mind can be very, very difficult. So that is why we return to the body, we return to the self, so we quiet down the mind and the nervous system and the whole kind of just have a much more aligned energy. Because when we are overstressing and overpowering, we are not living in alignment with the body, not the soul, not the heart, none of it. And that's when we are manifesting things that we don't want. So the manifestation process goes that we compound the positivity, and then we move through the multidimensional detox layer by layer, and we can move between them. Sometimes you work on one, sometimes on a couple, and you move in and out, and layer by layer everything slows down, the mind calms, the positive. It's like turning back the bird song, turning back the So there is a way to really elevate the energy by working on multiple different aspects at the same time. And it's inevitable. And that's one of the problems that the fasting industry had for many, many years, that people were only working with the food and not any emotional support, and how to deal with emotions, or how to deal with the mind. Or so when we started doing that almost 10 years ago, that was very unique, because the emotions are a huge part of it. It's one of the biggest parts. But once we kind of get an inflammatory body or system, we have to clean it out. And everyone has different ways of doing that. So, okay. Yeah, short one today. I feel like, interesting format, that it's changing. Everything's changing. Can you feel that? Are things changing for you guys out there? Can you feel the energetic shifts, or do you feel like it's just the same? Am I crazy? You gotta let me know. Okay. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully less kitten drama. Sending you lots of love, and I'll see you tomorrow.